And we got it.
So we're expecting just 2 more. I think there's more hosts than this, but several of them could not be here tonight. And so that's why we're recording this session. And I'm gonna upload it to YouTube and send them a link. And so they'll get to see all of your faces.
Got it.
So Peter, if you'd like to get started at 7:01.
Yeah, hi everybody. I apologize for not being on camera. I'm in a dark Ford Explorer in the dark parking lot. I occasionally double book, and tonight for some reason I had in my head, because I think the prior host sessions were at 6:30, so I said I would be somewhere at 7, and those people know that I'll be walking in late, but I apologize that I'm not on camera. Although the truth is, I'm mostly just an honorary host tonight. Stephanie really calls the shots, and Motria is her more than able partner. But what I want to do tonight is say thank you. You know, we are at Davidson College Presbyterian Church at roughly 1,500 members, at least on the books. And we're like every church out there. We don't totally know what our membership is on the other side of the pandemic. We won't for a little while for a variety of reasons. But even if we were only 1,000 members, we are in the top 10% of congregations in the United States by membership. We are larger than 90% of the communities of faith, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Jew, fill in the blank. We are larger than 90% of the communities of faith in the United States. So for anybody who might remember DCPC being a small Presbyterian church, we're well beyond that. But here's the knock on big churches. The saying is that big churches have big back doors. We throw open the doors, we say we're so glad that you're joining us, but we don't notice when people slip away. And we don't want to be that church. We don't want to make true the adage that big churches have big back doors. And that's where you all come in. Not that someone's membership and sense of connection is 100% on you. It's not. But we do want people to feel like the church community they're joining is at least a couple steps in the direction of being like Cheers. Do y'all remember that bar, that TV show in the 1980s? The theme song said, where everybody knows your name. Maybe not everybody will know the name of our new members, but you're going to ensure that somebody knows their names. Because here's what research tells us. Research tells us that for every 6 weeks that someone is not part of something other than worship and not known in a smaller setting, you cut in half the likelihood they're going to stay members of the church. And at least one step in the direction of being active outside of worship, one step in the direction of being known beyond just being a face in worship is you, the hosts. So that's why I really want to say thank you. Again, it's not all up to you, but you're reaching out, you're making connections, you're trying to help introduce people to the life of DCPC, hopefully is a way that they'll feel like they're known and therefore stay connected. And when we talk about that being known and staying connected, it's not so that we can say we're one of the largest churches in the country. It's because we all know and believe that there's something special about being part of a community of faith and being part of this community of faith. And because we know it's special, we don't want to hold on to it. We want to share it. We want other people to bring who they are, as well as to receive who we are. And so I'm really thankful that you are going to be a part of helping folks have that sense of connection to Davidson College Presbyterian Church. Now, there is a little bit of an art to being a host. You want to be a host without being a stalker. Not everybody needs to have someone calling them every day or every week, and not everybody needs someone to say, hey, I'm your host, and sit behind them and worship, and you'll figure that out. But you know, if we're going to make an error, we're certainly going to make an error on the side of being overly friendly as opposed to being cold. And so one of the ways to help you kind of figure out how do we welcome people without stalking them, you know, Stephanie and Motria and the membership committee have put together that document, that kind of suggested outline for what a timetable looks like. And if you didn't get a chance to open it, I mean, you've got this week 1 connection. It's coming to the new member class briefly, and then hopefully, if you can, jumping on a a small breakout session the following week. It's hopefully finding a chance to maybe sit down with them, or at least have another phone call with them sometime in weeks 3 or 4. And then hopefully in there, finding places to plug them into things that you're a part of in the life of the church. And here's the last little thing I want to say about that. Everybody on this call, even if you are still relatively new to the church, you're an insider. You know what PW means. You know what a Bible says you're a part of. It is to overestimate how much churches use jargon and insider language. Every organization does it. It's not just the church. You show up at the Pines and people start talking about, the Davidson room, or they talk about, the such and such space. And if you're a newcomer, you don't know what those are. And part of the role that you can play is interpreter. So when you maybe are inviting them to consider being part of something in the life of the church, maybe it's a woman who's a new member. She might never have been a part of a circle. She doesn't know what a circle is. Is it an art class? Is it a class that works on spatial features and geometric shapes? Or is it a group of women who get together on a regular basis, sometimes to share scripture, sometimes just to share life? Some circles have different flavors, but I think that one of the most important roles you can play beyond a name, beyond a connection, is to help interpret what all of these insider things are in the church. So for instance, Ginger and Eric, you might invite someone to come to short story theology and make sure they know they don't have to have a PhD in English. It's about 20 minutes of reading over the course of a month. And Peter and Sean Henry are usually friendly to newcomers, and come give it a shot. And it's literally something that you can show up for once, disappear for 8 months, and come back another time if you want to do it. So helping interpret what we do in the church and invite people to them, I think is kind of one of the number one things you can do beyond being a name and a point of connection and a point of welcome. Stephanie and Motrio, what would you add to that description for the hosts, and what would you qualify or take back from what I said if I said it wrong?
Go ahead,
Rex,
Motrio.
I'll just add that I was thinking about when I first came to DCPC, who were the people that helped me navigate, and it was certainly hosts, but it was other people who kind of were on the lookout. So you might all be just thinking back, what were some of the initial things that were very new to you, and who were the people who helped you, and imagining that would be the case for the new person who you'll be hosting. How to see the place anew the way you did when you first came.
I don't have much to add except for it's nice, especially if you do attend the same worship service and you actually can be there in person, to sit with them. That's one of the easiest ways to connect, at least once a week, is to sit with them in church if you actually can. If you're an online worshiper, and they are too, you can chat with each other. But just to find weekly ways to chat or see each other somehow is nice.
And to also be a resource of your own kind of journey. You might have had different chapters at DCPC or in your faith journey, and to kind of be someone that they feel that they can kind of imagine what the future holds for them at our community.
So maybe, this might be a great time, as Motrio said, thinking about what helped you integrate, or, the truth is sometimes churches do a good job and sometimes we don't. And so maybe a different question might be, what do you wish someone might have been doing for you when you joined DCPC? And for some of you all, you've been members for a while, for others, not quite as long. So, that's another way to frame it. What might have been helpful to you if it had been in place when you had joined DCPC or another community of faith?
It would help if the pandemic went away.
Oh my goodness, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Very true.
The question is, how many new members are we going to be having this Sunday?
We have 15.
15.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's about average, isn't it?
It has
Or-
been for several years. So I'm happy
Yeah.
with this class. We had a few kind of small ones like during the actual pandemic that didn't get over 10. But this is nice. 15 is good. We've had as much as 27. So this is not bad, but I'm okay with 15.
And we shouldn't take this for granted. The vast majority of communities of faith, but particularly Presbyterian churches in the United States, lose members every year. And some of those churches can't remember the last time they had a new member class.
In hindsight, can people hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. In hindsight, I wish somebody had given us a tour of the church. And that might be an idea. We still, after 3 years, have no idea.
Yeah.
We just found the 3rd floor the other night.
Ginger,
We've heard
that's
that
a
a
great
lot. Yes.
Yeah, that is a great observation. And Stephanie, that may be something, because that actually may be that could be good for both hosts and new members to get a tour together. It kind of puts them on equal footing. And there may be some of our established members that don't even remember what the building looks like. It's been a while. So
That is true. Ginger, we've heard that multiple times. We had several classes for 1.5 years, of course, that only joined virtually. And they had never, some of them had never even set foot in the building at all. And so when we had a couple of new member host family gatherings this past summer, we had about 3 of them. We had several people say, can you just like take us over there? We didn't make that a part of the function. Everything was in the congregation house, but we had some people do that later. But I think for this particular class, it's going to join in virtually like they did. When we get them back together, we should make a tour a part of the get together. So that's a great idea.
That is.
I think when we joined, it was shortly before COVID. It was a big class. I remember
We're in
that.
the last class before it
Yeah.
shut
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we were fortunate enough being at the Pines to fall into the Covenant class when Tony was running it, of course, and then the short story group as well. What we miss is the gatherings where we went up to Winston-Salem, for instance, which was before we joined, actually. And I think that was the impetus for getting us to actually join the church, because we met a number
No,
of
it
people,
was sages.
sages.
Yeah.
So because quite frankly, it was between you guys and the Methodists. We've been Methodists for years,
We've been Methodist, yeah.
although Ginger and I
They were married
married
in
in a Presbyterian church. She was a longtime Presbyterian. So
well, Eric,
Well,
if
I'll
you'd
have
like
to
me to
tell-
mention, I can
Go
mention
ahead.
Charles Wesley every now and then, if that's helpful.
well, the
Yeah,
other
we're
day,
happy.
I think they sung a song that I used to hear in the Lutheran church when I was younger. So that was
They got points.
pretty good. Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. We'll have to tell Susan Horning and Larry Lyon that the Sages is what did it for you. They'll be
Yeah.
happy
Yeah,
to hear
yeah.
that.
And regarding circles, I've always been in a church circle, but I have to admit, I'm not here. And I have to admit, I don't even know how to go about joining a circle, because what if I go and, as you say, there's a different feeling in each one. I'm just at a loss. So I haven't
Okay.
done that. So that's.
I'm gonna
just
write
for
that
me.
down.
I'm
I'll-
just, you'll be after me.
I'll be after you.
We
after
will.
this. We're
He
gonna fix
doesn't-
that.
He doesn't want to be in a fundamentalist.
I want the fun
Marjorie will
group.
get you.
Yeah.
Ginger-
Someone said, put the fun back in dysfunctional, and the same thing, put the fun in fundamentalist.
You say something.
Ginger, I was going to tell you that I was in a circle for years and years and years. And when we moved to Davidson, I said, circles no more. But after coming to the Pines, I have become a member of the circle here at the Pines. But I did have a break for about 13 years. But it's
Oh, so
good.
I'm okay.
You're okay.
I'm on my 3rd year. Thank you, Paige.
You remember when we used to meet in people's homes in the old days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will again, Lucille. We will again.
Yeah, I think one of the big problems for us, and it'll be fine and through May, but then we go away in the summertime. So, it's
Mhm.
gonna be a little harder, but we'll have to accelerate the process a little in between the time of joining and when we go. So,
I'm sure
We
it'll
did
be
last
fine.
year. Mhm. Stephanie, I was thinking to share that we did last year have two occasions very successful during the summer where we brought host families and the new members together who had already joined in the course of the year. We also had a gathering in December. So we had sort of a social opportunity in the congregation house with little games and kind of getting to know you sort of activities. So we will plan to host that as well.
And little masks.
Yes.
you have
Actually,
to
the
do,
first one we did didn't have masks. That was in July, I think. And right after that, masks came back.
you have to do it before the summer though, would be gone.
Yeah, we'd be good.
Maybe end of May, we can do that for this
Yeah.
class. I'll write that down too.
Before the 20th,
May 20th. Okay,
before May 20th.
okay.
Yeah, we
Be out of here.
leave town, or so our kids would say, be cheeks out of here before Memorial Day.
Awesome. I have a lot of specific notes on you, Ginger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I gotta keep my mouth shut now.
I'm glad you asked that about Circle because it's so totally all right not to know everything because there's so much that's going on and continuously evolving at DCPC. So it's kind of even fun to potentially explore something together or to say, I'll find out for you. Because I'm constantly still finding things out of things that are going on, even though I think I'm familiar with everything, but so please don't feel that you have to be knowledgeable about everything. Stephanie and others are a resource for questions you might encounter.
yeah, I don't think she wants to read Job.
I'm sorry?
I don't think
Never
she
mind.
wants to read Job. Oh,
There are so many different circle groups. I think in the course of 20 years, have been in 3 different ones at different stages and different times that were convenient for me. So it's not also like one has to be committed to one particular one at a certain stage.
That's true.
And everybody, Stephanie's got host power, so she can stay on. I just want to say thank you again, and I'll look forward to seeing hopefully most of you on the Zoom call on Sunday with our new members. But thank you everybody for being willing to be hosts. I can't overstate what kind of role you can play without it being a pressure-filled one. You just have a neat opportunity to really help folks connect, and I'm grateful that you're willing to do that. So thank you.
Awesome. You can slip off now, Peter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Peter.
He's going to play pickleball.
Oh.
That's what he didn't tell you. Awesome. So can everybody here be on the call on Sunday at 2:00?
yeah, you're cutting into the Super Bowl stuff. Then that I never watched.
Oh no, does that start before 4?
Stephanie,
Yeah.
Yes.
Stephanie, I think we told you we could not, but I think we can be. We will
Okay.
be here.
Okay,
And the other
fantastic.
thing, one last question for me to ask you. Tell me how to pronounce your last name.
Oh, good. This is fun. It's actually very phonetic. So if you just look at it, you could give it a try and I can tell you if you're
Okay.
right.
No, you just do it.
Okay. It's Malashizki. Malashizki. Yes.
Malashuki.
Malashizki.
Malashinsky.
Shizki. But see, it's phonetic. It could be
Okay.
harder.
Okay.
Is
It
it
could be
Polish or
harder.
Russian?
It's Ukrainian.
Ukrainian? I
Yes.
think we have 2 of you on tonight, don't we?
Yes, Prosek is Ukrainian too. I think we're in different sides of the country. Did you and Dave talk about that maybe?
He's in Central.
Oh, Central,
Right,
okay.
I'm Western. Yeah, it's a
Hmm.
big country.
Well, Stephanie's
Sadly
is
in the
probably
news.
more from the Russian
But that's my husband.
heritage. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So you're gonna send us an email with the Zoom link?
Yes. And
So-
in a script. So what's going to happen is we will be on the call with the staff, the membership committee, all the new members, and you guys. And so we're going to introduce everybody alphabetically. And so when we get to your name, there's a small script of exactly how to introduce yourself so that we can keep things rolling. Otherwise, things get tangential. And so I think Motria, it's 4 questions. I think it's your name, your family, your faith journey, like how did you get to DCPC? And then we always have one fun question. And I think this one is, who is your favorite celebrity crush? Because it's going to be Valentine's Day. So I hope that's okay. I guess we can maybe make it, a celebrity can be anything, your favorite sports star or NASCAR driver, or it doesn't have to be an actor or actress, but that might be fun.
Stephanie, do you recommend, I mean, because we're here at the Pines and the people we're sponsoring are at the Pines, but we haven't met them yet. Do you recommend that we call them before this meeting Sunday?
They don't know about you yet. And so
Okay.
so it's really appropriate to wait until Sunday.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we also are going to come back together if you want to or need to. And most of you at the Pines won't need to do this. But for the families who live farther apart, we're going to have a Zoom call next Wednesday night at 7, where we put you into breakout rooms with just your new member so you guys can talk to each other. So if that's helpful, you're invited to that. But if you don't need that because you see them in person anyway, then you don't have to come to that one. Awesome. Any questions? Yay.
I'm thinking of my heartthrob for Valentine's Day.
I know. I feel silly asking that question. I guess that's okay, Motria. Like we can
I didn't
change
realize
it.
we had decided that one. We all were flummoxed when we
We
were
were-
considering that.
Yeah, we were, and we can change it right now because I haven't told anybody but you guys that that's what that question is. But I feel silly asking it, so maybe it's not the right question.
Who is our favorite musketeer?
Oh my goodness. And you can only answer if you're a certain age.
That's true.
And I'm in that group.
Yeah.
Stephanie and Motria, I'm wondering if we shouldn't change that question. I felt some discomfort with it myself because I
Yeah.
just don't have any. I just
Yeah.
honestly don't. And maybe we could ask that question with an option or an optional question. I don't know.
That's a good
I-
idea.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
that or like your favorite Valentine's Day memory,
Sure.
just to keep it
Although
light.
I know you have to keep it short on time though, because memories could go, I don't know. Is
Oh,
there,
true.
Your favorite Valentine candy?
there you
That's
go.
a good one.
That's a good one. That's
Not those
I'm gonna
awful
say
hearts.
chocolate.
that's a
No.
great one.
That is
Or just
good.
our favorite Valentine gift. It could be chocolate or
There you go.
rose flowers,
Yeah.
or maybe let's do that.
Perfect.
That's good. So
Perfect.
offer an option or just go with that one?
Let's just go with
Let's
that.
go with that one. Okay. I'm so
Okay,
glad we had this discussion. Glad I asked you first.
Aw.
Awesome. Okay, so I think we're set then.
All
We'll
right.
see you at 2:00. This piece of the puzzle lasts about 45 to 50 minutes. And if you can't stay the whole time, you're welcome to leave after you've introduced yourself. But I find that this is my most favorite part of the class because you get to meet so many people. And the great thing about Zoom is that you can actually see them with their name. And so you're staring at their name and their face for almost an hour. And so you really do get to know them, which is nice. So it'll be fun, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. All right.
Thank
Well, you guys
you.
have a great evening.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Ciao.
Bye.
Thank you.
Night.
Bye.
Do the Queen's thing.
There we go.
And then
All right, night, everybody.
Good
Bye.
night.